is Katy. I'm 20 years old and I am part of an open adoption. It's something that I've known my whole life. It was never made a secret to me. My little brother, who is 4.5 years younger than me, is also adopted, and they have an open adoption as well. The biggest thing is it was never made a secret to me. When I read potty training books when I was 4, I had a book about how I was adopted and how my birth mom and my birth dad loved me very, very much, but they weren't ready to be parents, so they placed me for adoption. I always knew my birth family. Everything was made very simple to me. It was brought in as a part of my everyday life instead of a conversation that you needed to be sat down to have, which I think was really nice because it was never a secret. It was never scary or foreign or something to be worried about. I always knew why I was placed for adoption. She was 16. She was a junior in high school. She was not ready to be a mom, and that was made very clear to me from the time I was younger. The relationship was never a secret. The fact that I was adopted was never taboo. There was never confusion about who was my mom or my dad or who wasn't. It was the people who raised me were my mom and dad, and my birth parents were very special people who did something amazing for me so I could have the best life possible. My birth mom, her name is Jenny, so I called her Jenny. There was never a parenting role there. There was a difference. She was the big sister I never had and always wanted, a mentor, someone I could look up to. I think the only time we ever had a very serious discussion about it was when Juno, that teenage pregnancy movie, came out, when she called me in a panic saying, "You know it wasn't that easy, right? It wasn't some cutesy thing that I sat in a lawn chair and said, I think I'm going to put my kid up for adoption." She said, "I spent a lot of time thinking about what was best for you, what was going to be best for me." I think the biggest thing for me is I will never be that woman on Oprah. Everyone has seen the bad story about the 35-year-old woman on Oprah who desperately needs to know who she is and where she belongs and why she is the way she is. And I never had that fear, that stress. I also knew why I was placed and why this situation was the way it was and why it was good for everyone and why it was healthy, not only for the adoptive parents, even purely from a medical perspective, to be able to see the birth parents' side of it, but for a birth parent to be able to still feel that connection. Obviously there's going to be some loss that they feel, but you know, that it's not this taboo thing that happened when you were younger or for whatever reason that you can't think about, you can't talk about, you can't express anymore. It can be an ongoing piece of your life, and it can be a healthy relationship for everyone because there are no secrets and everyone gets to see where you went and how we all grew up together. I think the one thing I always tell people is it takes everyone to make an open adoption work. It takes the birth parents, the adoptive child, once we're all old enough to have a voice.